Some call it a hiatus or an artist block. Others call it burnout. Whatever the obstacle might be keeping us from doing the work, it is more commonly known as resistance. Hi, my name is Mark. I'm a 21-year-old full-time artist, and this is Mark's Place. I came across the term resistance as used within the context of art whilst reading The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. It dawned upon me that I now had a name for the faceless beast that traded in enticing commodities such as immediate gratification, procrastination, addiction, gluttony, laziness, the list goes on. In The War of Art, Stephen Pressfield says, in resistance will tell you anything to keep you from doing your work. If you take resistance at its word, you deserve everything you get. Resistance is always lying and always full of shit. The best way to beat resistance is to get up and get back to work. If this ingenious force manages to sneak up on you and suddenly the glorious day you've been granted only has a few hours left, and miraculously nothing has been done, do not combat this with reactions to moods and negative feelings. Respond with laughter, followed by the work. By laughing, you bare your teeth like a snarling wolf ready to pounce. Then you engage in that combat by continuing the work. Listen, you're protecting your light, honey. Resistance isn't some external force set out on only attacking you. It lives within all of us. It's like the yin in the yang. We must face it daily. When I started this drawing, A World Within Worlds, resistance had me in a chokehold. I was unemployed, I had all the time in the world, but I couldn't get anything done. To add to this, the emotional turmoil, mostly perpetuated by my state of unemployment, crushed any sense of worth and drive within me, which is ironic, seeing that I'm now a full time artist. Needless to say, all this time with this drawing crushed any sense that I was worth any good. So I made Owl. From this, I learned never to combat challenges in your art by giving in to resistance. A great way to break away from something you've stared at for months is to start or continue with something else, and only to return to the older project once the new project has been completed. This gives you fresh perspective. For A World Within Worlds, I had no clear path or intention. I had no intention of adding the moons or the color. It was purely something I started because I had to start something. Thus began the tumultuous path that most artists have to follow when starting something new. When creating anything, there is no clear path. You are at the mercy of the muses, or the source, or whatever you want to call that force, that thing that gives you clues to your creative endeavor. I like to compare it to detective work, but instead of having solid and tangible clues to follow, you follow clues that aren't as solid and aren't as articulate. Nonetheless, I find this methodology necessary. An adaptive openness to the world and the wealth of knowledge it holds makes for compelling stuff. You see, the muses do not come to you with a prompt or an idea for what the end result should be. They flow and rush and crash upon your bearings, seeking channels, conduits, if you will, and if you do not hold on to that breathing, pulsing force when it passes through you, it passes on to another. In The Creative Act, A Way of Being, Rick Rubin says, if you have an idea you're excited about and you don't bring it to life, it's not uncommon for this idea to find its voice through another maker. This isn't because the artist stole your idea, but because the idea's time has come. A World Within Worlds liberated me as an artist, as it started with no clear theme or concept. I gave myself the space to expand, experiment, and grow. This project birthed the beginnings of the triptych titled Symptoms of Duality. This is part one. Part two and three will be released soon. If you'd like to own a print of this artwork, you can visit my website. The link will be in the description. I'd like to end with this quote from the Bhagavad Gita. Thy right is to work only, but never to its fruits. Let the fruit of action be not thy motive, nor let thy attachment be to inaction. That said, thanks for having me. See you in part two. Bye.